accident or incident may occur. So he also talked about, I also learned that in our various facilities that most of the staff, the security, the cleaners, everyone should be taught, or anyone should actually know how to use those fire equipment. And in that class, I learned that for there to be a fire, there must be heat, is it fuel now, and oxygen, that those three things must be available for a fire to occur. That if we can take one of those elements out, that the fire can be extinguished. So I think that's my take home for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roland. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Okay, so Kazim, would you like to share your thoughts with us?
Good evening, all. My take home from the last class is understanding what fire is and know the firefighting equipment. I know I know the maintenance of what it takes to maintain those firefighting equipment. I also got to understand that in our facility, or any facility we are inheriting, we don't need to say we want to make a major installations there. We just need to make our plans around what is on ground, what is being installed in the facility. So that is when we'll be able to manage. We'll be able to manage any fire incident that occur in that facility. For example, and one of the ways we can make a plan in fighting fire should it occur is by training the personnel, most especially the security guys, in how to handle those firefighting equipment. We need to also assign role. We need to know, in case there is fire, who is going to do the head count, who is going to coordinate, maybe to allow people to coordinate people from moving from the building to a muster point, who is going to call the emergency number. So these are just a few things I learned from the last class. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kazim. Thank you all for sharing with us your great thoughts. Okay, we have our facilitator with us. Emmanuel, I see your hand up, but our time is up, I'm sorry. So at this moment, I'll hand over the balance of time.
Sorry, it's actually raining in my location. The network is very, very bad. I apologize. I struggle to even connect to this class, but I will still try and ensure we do the right thing and we get this over. So my name is Kolakbo Bolade. I'm Engineer Kolakbo. I'm a registered mechanical engineer, and I've been in health and safety for about 13 years now, and I'll be taking you through the emergency preparedness and business and continuity class. Yes, this course is actually aligned to ISO 31000 2018, where we try to see how your business can continue if there is a problem. So emergency preparedness is just speaking to how you as an organization, as a facility manager, can ensure that your facility. So, Baraka, please, I can't see the screen. Can ensure that your facility is actually prepared. Hello, can you hear me? I can't see the screen, please. Okay, so your facility is actually prepared in case of emergencies. And when we talk of emergency this time, we are talking of everything and anything that can actually go wrong. We're looking at the threats that your facility, your premises, your business is exposed to, and what can stop you from working. Now, as an FM, we want to ensure that you can actually predict, that you can actually appreciate, you can forecast the kind of incident that can stop your operation or disrupt your operation. So when we say something around business, or the one we use the word continuity, let's forget the business part. When we use the word continuity, then that means there is a possibility of a discontinuity. If something is not lost, it can be found. If something is not broken, we can't be talking of mending or repairing. So when you hear the word repair, that means there was a loss. That means something actually just spoiled. So when you hear the word continuity, that means that there is a possibility or probability of a discontinuity. What can stop or cause destruction? So our focus in this class is to ensure that as an FM, you understand and can actually identify what can stop you from opening your office tomorrow morning. What can stop your customers from patronizing or from coming back tomorrow morning. However, this is not at the tactical level. When I say tactical, it's not at the point of doing. What we are doing today is at the point of planning. It's strategic. You can actually have the strategy or the operational or the technical parts, right? So, so you hear the word manager, you hear the word supervisor, and hear the word technician. A technician is at the technical part, is the guy that will do the job. He knows what to do, but he needs to be told how to do what he needs to do. So there must be an operational side. And even the operational side needs to be resourced. There must be resources made available for the operation to go on. And that is your role as a manager. If you are here and you are a facility officer or a facility supervisor, it's not a problem. We're trying to just prepare you for that stage where you can actually, have a top view over the functionality and framework of the organization. Emergency preparedness that we're talking about this afternoon is not how to use an extinguisher. You would have done that in the other class or under fire safety, where we're saying, okay, you can actually pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire while holding the hose. You can squeeze the lever and you can sweep side to side. That's at the level where the fire needs to be quenched. But there is a level where the fire needs to be prevented. All right, and there is a level where we need to plan for the fire itself. How do we manage this fire incident if it happens? And that is why we are here, strategic and managerial level. So preparedness itself is a function where we need to create an operational framework such that we can identify, we can track, we can document, and of course, we can mitigate your exposures. So that's what we call vulnerabilities. We can mitigate, we can nip in the bud your risks, the threat, your exposure, your loose ends, when it comes to workplace hazard, even up to a catastrophic level, which could be an earthquake or whatever event. So you're in this class so you can actually understand the level at which you operate, where you are, and where you need to be. All right. So a plan needs to be developed. You can't develop a plan if you have not identified what the problems are. Essential functions need to be identified. If your head office is bombed today, if there is a terrorist attack at your office today, maybe this night and no life was lost, but of course your equipment and everything has been blown off, is that the end of the company? That is the question around business continuity. It's raining in Ibadan. I'm in Ibadan. I came to this evening, and it's raining in Ibadan right now. If your office is in Ibadan and it gets flooded, is that the end of your operation this week? Today's Monday. If there is armed robbery incident in your facility and important documents were stolen, our equipment were stolen, does that mean that your company can no longer function? The answer can be yes. Then, as an FM, what is the role you're playing to ensure that these things don't happen? And if they happen, you can quickly go back to work. That's recovery. You can actually go back to work and continue the business as if it's still business as usual. My question is, what are the emergency events that can happen in the organization? Have you thought about them? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so what you have on this screen of potential exposure, threat, or risks that can stop your operations. If there is a cyber attack, like the one that happened, so I think there's one organization here in Nigeria, and there was cyber attack. Are we saying that that is the end of the organization? If there is flood, if there is water shortage, you can't run an hotel facility and people wake up early in the morning and discover that there is no water. There is no way you're going to remediate those kind of events if they were not pre-forecasted, if they were not identified beforehand. What are those things that you need to do? Where do you need to pre-forecast? Advanced preparedness is a state of being ready. So change the word preparedness to readiness. All right? It's so that we are ready for all types of emergencies. And again, we can actually respond to them. You are ready, you've been able to envisage all types of emergencies that could happen in your facility. And you are ready to actually take action. All right? And like I said, you can't think of taking action in terms of readiness if you don't even know these things can happen. Business continuity has to do with recovery, going back to status quo, being able to continue, being able to bounce back. That's the word. Being able to bounce back when things actually go wrong. In this class, I will show you 5 methods that you can use to actually manage your emergencies. Or should I use the word 5 ways you can? So we're then saying that as facility managers, what is your role? What are your roles? All right. And chief among them is that you need to be able to participate, support, and in some other cases, even lead the emergency preparedness program. You need to be able to develop a risk management plan. You need to identify what can go wrong, how likely and how seriously these things can go wrong. You need to have a response to those things that can go wrong, and that is the emergency management plan. You need to understand the procedure. The metrics talks about the indicators. So what are you even measuring? Is the number of days it took you to bounce back? Is the number of resources that is needed for your organization to even be able to bounce back? What are the tools that you needed or that you need to ensure that you can even bounce back? If it's a medical emergency, if it's a cyber attack, if it's an armed robbery situation, if it's a terrorist attack, what are those things that you have put in place to ensure that, yes, you can go on? Simulation and exercises, that's what we call the drills. Can you or have you planned the drills to even test that the procedures, the instructions, the plan that you have in place can and will work? As an FM, you need to work with whoever, whether the IT guys or the security guys, whoever is responsible to ensure that your systems are safe and secured. You need to be able to participate in the business continuity planning. So business continuity program or plan is a set of procedures is a set of next steps that we take after we have analyzed the probability and severity of the hazard or threat that you have identified. You need to analyze the possibility, that's the probability rather, and the severity, so that you can actually know what the risk consequence, what's the actual outcome, what the fear is. Then you put in controls. For instance, you're a facility manager in an energy, maybe it's a renewable energy company. You guys have got a warehouse where you have equipment, your solar panels, inverters, controllers and things, cables and every other thing stored. And perhaps as the facility manager, you have an oversight over that space, over that warehouse. Or even if you don't have an oversight, because you are supposed to be a member of the business continuity program, you are privy to the information around the location and the kind of safeguards you have in that place. So let me give you an instance. So you have a warehouse somewhere in Oshodi, all right, or Isaleko, so Lagos Island, or the CMS, Marina, or what have you. And your warehouse, maybe the fence is low, so it's not an high-walled perimeter fence. Perhaps you only have one or two security guards at night that just walk about the facility to keep watch over the facility, right? However, you've got threats of the area boys attacking or stealing from your facility. It is not good enough for you to just assume that, oh, because we have security guards, then that place is safe. Your security guards are just, let's say, a level, one way of ensuring that space is safe. Your physical barricade, which is the fence, need to be at the right height. Illumination, that's lighting and what have you, need to be adequate in that sort of space. Even community relations, your factory or warehouse management relationship with the community should be intact, so that you can actually have, should I say, informants, people that gives you the right information around planned attacks over your warehouse. Installing CCTV should not be out of place. Having electrical fence or electrical fencing or fence wire should not be out of place. For those kind of places, you should know that your fence should not form part of the warehouse boundary. What do I mean? Some people actually build the house such that, maybe to save cost or whatever, the fence is also part of the building, so that if somebody breaks into the fence, they are actually broken into the house. No, there must be adequate distance between your fence and, of course, your warehouse. Of course, your warehouse should be manned 24/7, adequate manning, maybe with the right level of weapons. Of course, escalation, raising alarm when there is an attack, where you have to call the police or what have you, should be something that everyone is oriented. Everyone knows what number to call to get you to the DPO, the divisional police officer, or to get to the station. There are things you need to do to ensure that security of the systems and services are intact. On a blind eye or a deaf ear, you'll be shocked that at the end of the day, materializes when somebody or some group of people are able to break into your facility, into the warehouse, and they steal clients or customers' equipment. Then it becomes a bigger problem for the entire team, for the entire staff. What am I saying? You need to take a look at the possible exposures, hazards, or threats that could materialize in your own facility. Put that side by side with the severity, the impact on your organization. Of course, financial impact is chief among the impacts. And look at the ease of detection. How quickly can you guys even realize that these things have gone wrong? If you work in an hotel, or you're an FM in an hotel, or even a shared office space, so you have a multi-story office complex, and your company is actually managing that property. It could even be residential. You can't afford to have water outage. You can't afford to have sewage overflow. You can't afford to have long time shutdown or blackout. You can't afford to have those kind of situations. Then what do you need to do? You need to put in place recovery measures, meaning if this thing should happen, what is the next thing that we need to do? What are those things that we need to do to be able to recognize this event, to be able to spot this thing before they happen? For instance, you can't be running a residential apartment as an FM, whether the 1004 of this world or even places that are smaller than that. And you come at night at 6 p.m. now, it's about 6 p.m. now, to say, oh, we're out of diesel. And your suppliers cannot even supply. My question to you will be, what is your buffer stock? At what level, at what liters of diesel are you supposed to trigger a resupply? At what level, at what water level, even from the treated water tanks, are you supposed to, to ensure that the bowls, the water is actually supplied to the raw water storage tanks? At what level do you need to understand that the sewage tank or septic tank should be evacuated? At what level do you need to bring in your waste vendors to evacuate your waste? When should you ensure that even your lawns are managed? So somebody comes to, maybe a gardener comes to take care of the lawn. At what level do you need to ensure that the backup for your electricity supply is functional? As we speak, do you have the telephone numbers of people you can call to supply you with clean, potable water, just in case your facility is down, maybe your bowl is down, or maybe it's water pump or something? It is not enough excuse, facility managers, for you to come and say, oh, we actually raised the request. It's been delayed from the head office. Those are cheap excuses. Everybody can actually say that. Those are cheap excuses. I can't be in a facility and you don't even have a plan maybe for your stormwater pit evacuation. If you work maybe in a space where you need to ensure that high-level cleaning happens, it is not enough for you to come and complain to say, oh, the equipment is down, we're trying to get the technician to fix it. No, it has to be fixed. What we're saying is that you must have what we call layer of protection or layer of replacement, LOR, where you need a substitute for your substitute. So if you're a football fan, you should know that when a coach goes to the stadium or to the football pitch with 18 players on a match day, it will go with some players that are actually versatile, players that can actually play in multiple roles. Now, it can't afford to go for to go players that can play like for like. So if you watch the EPL Premier League, you don't go to the pitch or on a football match day with 22 players. No, but there are some players such that they can actually fill in for the other players. And we've seen situations where you substitute a player and the substitute also got injured and need to be substituted. What we're saying is that you need to have multiple layer of rescue. multiple layer of replacement. Your borehole can be down. Yes, you may have the best routine around your borehole management system. When I say routine, I mean servicing and maintenance. But do you even have the adequate capacity or size of a water storage tank? Are you feeding from hand to mouth? Listen, you need to even determine with the help of a flow meter. Install the flow meter out of you may not have flow, depending on your strategy. If you are trending sustainability, if you are interested in knowing what your operations is doing in terms of water withdrawn from the ground, then you can have a flow meter, from the borehole into the storage tank. But I'm even more interested in the flow meter from your storage tank into the buildings or building, depending on the number of buildings that you are managing, so that we can actually understand. So at 6 a.m. on the 12th of June, what was the flow meter reading? At 6 a.m. on the 13th of June, what was the flow meter reading? And if I have that trend for, or maybe 7 a.m., I'll have that trend for 1 week, I can give you an average of what your tenants actually consume in that residential property, early in the morning. We are in Lagos, so they need to leave their house before 7 to avoid the traffic, right? Then I'll be asking you, does my water treatment capacity and storage tank plus my raw water storage tank able to take care of this water usage? You can't have a storage tank of 20,000 liters and your guys are consuming 15,000 liters. That means you have just a buffer of 5,000, meaning that if your borehole should go out, should be down, you can't survive for 1 day. So what is your own availability approach? Reliability engineering, we call something availability, and we call another thing reliability. Being available and being reliable are two different things, sir. Something can be available and not reliable. One over lambda. How long this system can run when you have a problem. So if I ask you, I have 14 people on this call, right? If I ask us on this call that if today your ball will stop working this moment, 10 minutes to 6, when will you be out of water? Have you actually asked yourself that question? If my ball will stop working now, when will I be out of water? See, if you don't be out of water in 2 hours, you don't have a system. You need to make a case. I told you last time that for health and safety, for sustainability, we now move with data. You need to be able to forecast based on numbers, not based on what you feel, because everybody can. So I'm not asking for qualitative judgments based on experience. I'm asking for quantitative judgment. What will I see? What will I get? How soon can you run out of water? So I expect all the engineers here to be able to forecast whatever for the because it will be a sin, grievous one, dismissible offense, for you not to even know how long your diesel storage tank can hold you. So if you have 10,000 liters of diesel now, how many days will you be out? So if today there is a strike, NUPEN goes on strike, and there is no diesel supply, right, today, what's going to happen to your hotel? You guys are going to shut down? I don't expect that. Or you guys are going to go and be getting black market diesel. Yes, black market is also a plan, if that's what you want. But I'm saying that there must be a plan and a plan. If your generator is down, do you even have 2 generators? You only have 1. Fantastic, no problem. But that 1 generator can actually go down. If the generator is down, what can you then do? Do you have the phone number of maybe from the likes of Mantrack? I don't know, depending on the size of your facility. where you can actually do a spot hire right now. People that you've checked, you've renegotiated, you know, so maybe you use the 250 kVA, so you know they have the 250 kVA gen, and you know that you can actually call them now, and based on relationship they deliver. Emergency preparedness and business continuity. You need to resolve all protocols before the emergency day. I repeat again, there must be a BCP, a business continuity plan, such that things have been pre-approved. You run out of water, your borehole is down. Don't even run out of water. Your borehole is down, and you know you're going to run out of a potable water supplier, and the guy comes. So when I say potable water, that means water that is clean and drinkable. That's the word. Can you then activate that number? And the guy come into your facility in 1 or 2 hours and come with his water tanker, and of course dump the water for you, so that your operation can still continue while you try to resolve your borehole problem. For the borehole itself, do you have more than one vendor that can help you service and maintain the borehole, just in case the other one is not in town? You can't be stranded, or you can't start looking for a borehole repairer or a submersible pump repairer on that day when you're having a problem. If it's to buy a new one, do you have multiple vendors, 2, 3 vendors that you can call, even if it's on credit? They supply the specified submersible pump for your borehole. Facility managers, we're not here to just manage cleaners. If your cleaning company or facility decide to pull out today, maybe they are owing them some money, I don't know, and decide to stop coming. If your cleaners decide to stop coming to work today, then are we going to have a garbage kind of facility? What's the backup plan? So I use the word backup. You can substitute that with the word backup for recovery. You can change it to mitigation. What we're saying is, how can we continue to remain in business when the business is down? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Is it my internet? I can't see you move to the next slide. I need to explain the maturity. The maturity of your facility. If your facility is not matured as we speak, or next slide, please. So I can't see this screen move, please. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, sir.
The screen is not moving here either.
Okay, so let me just explain the next screen. Next slide, no problem. Even though I can't see it. Okay. So it's about the maturity, of your facility. If your organization has some experience with emergency planning stroke business continuity, then the facility manager also has some role to play in this kind of maturity skill, right? So if your company is even not aware of what emergency response or preparedness is, neither do they have a plan nor a budget for this. The only thing you can do as an FM, let's be clear to ourselves, the only thing you can do as an FM is to ensure that the facility complies with local regulation. And what do I mean by local regulation? Is to ensure that the facility, that you even understand the local laws. What is the government expecting from you guys? What are the agencies expecting from you? If you're in Lagos, there will be something called LOMA, right? If you're in Lagos, at least, even everywhere, not just Lagos, you've got the DISCOs, the power holding company of Nigeria, right? The PHCN. So whether it's Kedge Electric, whether it's Ibadan Electric, whether it's Eco Electric, whatever, you've got these guys that you need to at least manage. All right. If your company has some awareness and there is little planning, and of course, there are one or two things that you guys do, it's also be good for you as a facility manager to help that company to identify their threats, what can actually go wrong. So when you identify what can go wrong, then using your probability times severity, you can then ensure that the consequence is known. What's the likelihood of having a flooded premises in Lekki versus what's the same probability in Ikeja or somewhere, Amagodo or what have you? They are different. The severity might be the same, but the probability will of course differ based on the terrain and location as you guys are. If there is a growing awareness within the organization and they are able to identify critical processes and of course have some plans in place, then you as a facility manager should lead. You as a facility manager should lead the organization, and even help develop contingency plan for this organization. Then finally, we expect that at this point, you should have your emergency preparedness and business continuity plan in place. And you should be able to test, that's conduct drills, and of course, ensure that people are well trained to support this program. So you have 4 phases, 4 distinct, level at which your organization could be. You know where you are, and you know what you should do, I guess. Please slot in and ensure that you help the organization to move from where they are right now to where they should be. Next slide, please. So you can always read the benefits. I can't emphasize this. Let me go to the strategy. Next slide. Let me just show you something around the peer. Okay, good. So what we've been talking about, mitigating or preventing or protecting. 4 things are actually key. And you should know this from your HSC training. 1, the people have to be protected. The environment is to be protected. The asset is to be guarded. You need to safeguard the assets. And the reputation, the image, the name, the brand of the organization is at stake. We can't afford to have a company where you work as a facility manager and we have things going wrong. We have people dying. We have oil spill, chemical spill, and whatever happening. You have even your generator being damaged as a result of flood. You have your organization, brand of reputation, being impacted. So we need you to safeguard people physically and psychologically. We need to stabilize your processes and ensure that the essential processes are running, as they should. You need to secure the company's reputation. And like I said the other time, you need to that has happened, but how do you respond? How do you react to what has happened? Do you decide to sit down on the floor or do you intend to stand up? There was a guy called Tyson Fury, and I think in one of his first boxing bouts with Wilder, it was knocked down. And the referee counted, the 10 counts. And he told himself he can decide to lie on the floor and he will lose that battle. Or he can decide to rise. And the guy took that the second decision. He rose on his feet and it was a draw. In fact, to some other judges, it seems Tyson Fury actually won that bout. What are we saying? If there is an unlikely event that has materialized, e.g., flood or what have you, such that it has impacted your facility, your premises, you have choices to make. But the better choice if you have preempted, if you can foresee that event can happen, then you would have prepared for the unfortunate outcome, and be able to respond in a better way. Moment Ali said that what you can't see, you can't eat. So I think that tells us why the boxers actually go for the face, not just for the body shots. Yes, for the body shots, maybe you can, eat the guy and maybe weaken his strength and what have you. But for there to be a clear winner, you need to blind the other guy. When I use the word blind, I'm intentional. You need to actually eat his cheeks and face, and in fact his eyeballs, and make him not see you again, dim his vision, so that you can then attack him full-fledged and win. What you can't see, you can't eat. If your eyes are dim, I can tell you for free that you can't eat your target. What you can't see, you can't pick. If your eyes are dim, your vision is blurred, you can't actually go for a particular thing and get it at the first time of ask, because you have your vision, you have your sight, impacted. For you as an FM, you can't afford to be in a facility and not see. You can't afford to blend with the background. You can't afford to do everything as business as usual. You can't afford to come to work and not see with a fresh pairs of eyes. You need to do and undo every day. When I say every day, I mean every day. You can't afford to drop the ball. Unfortunately, this is one of the toughest jobs that we guys can take. Being an FM is not, give the title. You can be a member of IWFM. I'm even a certified grade member, for information. A CIWFM. But that doesn't take me away from seeing. Being one step away from being a fellow should not take you away from seeing which situation. Somebody will get a query for that. I don't joke with people management, yes, but you can't tell me that the tanks got empty. Then you realize that your borehole is not working. Multiple failure. Then you're not telling me that, caller, we are trying to fetch water. I won't give you that kind of instructions. I want you to fetch water, but somebody needs to start home. Somebody does not know his or her job. Someone needs to start home for maybe 1 week. Someone needs to go and hug, I don't know, maybe the kids. Put someone in the break from work, unpaid break from work. You don't go to a facility and blend with the background. If it's white, you can't be white. So when I say use the word blend with the background, that means you are complacent. You also give excuses. There is a reason you have an email to defend whatever jargon's action that is happening. I'm not saying those actions will not happen, but I just told you that you need to have a backup of a backup. You can't go to the field as a coach and say you only have one guy that can play as a top striker. You are set up for failure, because if that guy gets injured, then you play first nine, right? Man City guys, you play first nine. But even your first nine must have goal instinct. You must know how to score goals. You can't be a Man U now. Sorry, I'm a Man U fan. You can't be a United that is relying on Ronaldo. And when Rashford is on form, what kind of club is that? What kind of coach is that? And be expecting Brighton to help you beat West Ham for you to qualify for Europa. What kind of club is that one? And you saw the consequence. People lost their job. The interim coach was supposed to take up a 2-year consultancy and make extra money. He needed to go. The Pogba, the Matic, matter of this world needed to excuse themselves, because the performance is at a level. If you can't deliver, you take a bow. I will never be caught unable to deliver. I will take a bow. If I'm on a job and I realize I can no longer deliver, I go on for another job. Clear. I take a bow. Nobody will show me the way out. I know the way. I know how I came in. FM. I told your guys on Saturday that I don't see any reason why an FM should be on a position for 5 years. You take a bow. Guys, what are you guys doing? So you're managing a space, and for 5 years you're on the same position. You take a bow. Come on. you upskill yourself, you do what you need to do. So what is what you need to do? You need to work hard, you need to gain additional qualification, and you need to look out. You excuse yourself. Excuse me. You can't and can never be an FM that wants to succeed and not see things with different pairs of eyes. If that is the way you've been working, I'm sorry, maybe that's why you're on that road for 5 years. I'm sorry. What you can't see, you can't eat. What we need now is for you two guys to bring value to the table. If there is no table, bring one. If you can't bring the value, please walk away. Yes, some people take break intentionally, intentional career break. You can't take it. I understand, Buhari, but you can take intentional career and go and upskill and reskill. You can't be an FM and your energy bill is going up every day. Demand for an energy audit. Which equipment is actually consuming? Why am I having level 1, level 2 efficient motors in a facility like this? Why? Put the case on the table. We need to change the motors. We can't. So excuse me. Do you guys even know what you consume, or just pay the bills? Do you know the kilowatt hour you consume? I just spoke about you metering your water. If you are buying that water, is that how it's going to be used? Can you make a case for maybe a sensor tap or something? But you can only make that case if there is data, and data comes from measurement. Let me refresh your memory. When you're doing root cause analysis, so when there is a problem, you need to do the root cause analysis. Ishikawa, right? Fishbone. And if you are using a fishbone method, if you go online now and you type fishbone diagram or fishbone analysis, Ishikawa, you're going to see the 5 M's, right? But I think the last time I was telling you about 7M plus E. It's clear. The man, the machine, the method, the material, the motivation, the management, the measurement, and the environment. 7M plus E is actually key. You can't have a problem and not about to run your problem through a root cause analysis. It's not done. Some of us talk about good housekeeping. There is no good housekeeping without the 5S plus 1. I don't get. If you pick your phone and you press 5S on Google, you're going to be seeing something like sort, set in order, standardize, shine, sustain. Then I said plus 1, that is plus additional S, which is safety. I can't come to your facility and you are not having 5S, guys. You are not a facility manager. I'm clear. You can't do and you can't receive what you don't believe. You need to believe that this can get better. You need to believe that you can't spend more than 5 years on this road. You need to know that you have where you are going. You need to psych yourself that what you can see, you can eat. If I can see it, I can eat it. If I can dream it, I can live it. Right? What fact do you want to see? Where do you want to be? How do you want to prioritize the people, the environment, the assets, and of course, your brand, the company reputation? We'll be on this part where people came from some of the top hotels in Lagos. And those are the hotels that when you walk in, they are sparkling clean. And the guys still came here and still wanted to listen to how they can recover quickly when it comes to business continuity. Next slide, please. Let me take you to, okay, so let me just do the PDCA for you here, then we move. No, not the ETA. Give me the PDCA. No, the previous slides. Yeah, this. After the peer. Yeah, your risk management process. Okay, so talking about identify. You see, identify. And assess the risks using your probability and severity matrix, right? The one you learned in HSA. Or you can have your 5 by 5. What's the likelihood of this event happening between 1 to 5? What's the severity? What's the impact? What negative impact if it happens between 1 and 5? Then you can rate whether it is low, medium, or high. Same way we can say green, yellow, red. Same way we can relate that to the traffic lights. When it's green, that means it's below 5. You can keep doing. When it is yellow, which is a medium risk, you need to stop and put in controls. Your controls come from the hierarchy of safety controls, SCAP, the elimination, substitution, engineering, administrative, and PPE, right? You need to know what you need to put in place. But in the next slide after this, I'll be showing you what we call the speed of onset. In reliability engineering, when we're doing FMC, we call it ease of detection, SOD, ease of detection. How do I know that this thing will happen? For cyber security, clear. If you don't know your speed of detection or speed of onset, you are gone. If an hacker breaks into your system, how soon can you know? Is it when the whole money has been wiped off? That's when that will be the two reactioner. You can't wait till that time. What is that trigger? What tells me that something has broken my procedure? Identify and assess the risks. Then what are the critical parts? In program management, they say, oh, critical parts. So if that part is not completed, the system cannot run. The product cannot be delivered. Critical part. In facility management, we say, what are the critical assets? What are those assets whose integrity must be maintained? What are the assets that have what we call the SCE, the safety critical elements? That if there is a failure, it could lead to a complete loss. If as simple as your borehole is, or your pumps, all your pumps in utility, they're actually on critical part. All your pumps, they're safety critical equipment. If the pump is not working, your water does not get to the tank. And of course, your client does not get water to even have his back. It's going to be a disaster if your lodger or something in the hotel has gone into the shower and have soap and everything over his face, open the tap and no drop of water is coming out. You will be fired. Clear. Somebody needs to go. Clear. So what are those things that we need to do? If I ask, do we even have in our store, do we even have standby pumps? If you look at those installations, you only have 2 pumps. We say there is duty and standby. Duty means the one on duty, the one that is working. Standby is the one that can kick in. You could connect them, if you could relay these things and make sure that when one stops, the other picks. Or you can just have it as a backup that can be plugged in. So that means all the access, connection access, everything are on standby. You can't have a failure at 1 a.m. I've been somewhere, I'll mention the place, a very big facility in Lekki. I've been somewhere around 1 a.m. and I needed to go back to my house. And the guy said the generator pump has failed at 1 a.m. We can't have a failure at 1 a.m. We need to bring guys in that middle of the night. And of course, I needed to walk into the facility manager and said, okay, I don't understand how this happened. I don't understand why you should allow this to happen. A submersible pump failed at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. in a facility that runs for 24 hours. The generator must not go off. The monitor, so don't let me say it because I don't know if there is a rep on this call, but the monitor, the operation of an IT enterprise in the whole of West Central Africa. And they ran out of fuel. Well, not that the fuel finished, but the pump was bad. What's the difference? Maybe we need to fetch water. We need to be fetching the diesel and be taking. No, it's supposed to have. So for such critical elements, there's supposed to have a backup in the store. It has failed, just take it out, put a new one. In the morning, we can resolve that. We can get someone to repair that, and we draw that the new one you put and put it back in the store as your backup. Then the other one, the one on duty can still continue. Then you may even need to then get another backup, right? So you can now make a case that a failure is possible, especially if you can't repair the bad one. Guys, identify critical assets and form a routine around the assets. what is your ITP, your inspection and testing plan. In fact, we say it is IOTP, your inspection, operation, and testing plan. What is your plan? You tell me, what do you have documented on the plan that you have offhand that nobody can actually bring out? If I come by request for your procedures, what do I have? And of course, we said you should develop a risk strategy. So let's go then. Of course, you monitor and evaluate. So what you can have here is what we call the PDCA. You plan, you do, you check, you act. Right? Your Deming theory. You plan, you do what you have planned, you act on what you have done. So you check what you have done, and you act on what the outcome of those checks are. I say you plan what you want to do. PDCA, planning, or you plan, do, check, act. You plan what you want to do, you implement or do what you plan to do, then you check what you are doing to be sure that you are still on your way. And of course, you act on the gap. So you can't be coming to Ibadan from Lagos and you face, maybe when you go to, I don't know what they call that place, that's Shagam interchange. You now face that road to Abeokuta. So you missed your way, right? So you plan to come to Ibadan. Now you implement, you put your car on the road and you are coming. But if you don't have metrics, ways of checking, whether by Google Map or what have you, you might turn off from Lagos to Ibadan, and if possible, maybe face Benin or somewhere, the East-West Road, as if you're going to Port Harcourt, and you feel you are still on your way. No, it can happen. So you check, you confirm. You can actually ask people, am I still on this way? Or use the Google Map or technology, or have somebody that knows the way, that's the experience, in the car. Then, if you even miss your way, you make a turn, that's acting, and you plan again and go back to initial plan. And this cycle just continue until you get to your destination. And again, you need to also know that facility management is not a destination, it's always a journey. There will never be a day or a point where we say we are there. Same way with health and safety. The day you said you are there, you have arrived, that's the way the incident will happen. That's the day that you're going to have something mess you up. You are never there. You are always, there's what we call continual improvement in ISO. You are always trying to get there. Next slide, please. I'm running behind schedule. Next slide, please. I came late for the class, so I'm running behind schedule. Next slide, please. Okay, she doesn't want to give me the next slide. Okay, so next slide is actually ETA, the event threat analysis. Event threat, and that's why I was talking about around the speed of onset. Okay, so if you zoom in on this slide, you see table A saying event probability on a scale of 1 to 3. Is it likely? Is it possible? Is it probable? Speed of onset. How fast can you detect the problem? Very slow, gradual, or sudden? Or how fast can the problem set out? How fast can it happen? For instance, flooding. There's always a gradual buildup of water. You can't just say, oh, this place is flooded and I didn't know. It just happened. It can't just happen, my sister. It can't just happen. Blackouts can actually happen suddenly, right? But that you run out of water is cannot just happen suddenly. Something actually led to something, right? Existing mitigation, take credits. Water supply interruption exceeding 4 hours. For this function, accounting department, it is unlikely. What's their business with water in an accounting firm? Yes, maybe they use the restroom. So what volume are they even consuming and what have you? Then the speed of onset. Here they say suddenly. It could be sudden if you're actually buying, if you're actually connected to maybe the water board. So you're not even in control of your water. Somebody supplies water to you. The person something can happen and there's no water supply. Right? Mitigation here is strong. It's strong because maybe these guys even have storage facility. They have a tank, a drum that they store the water, right? The impact is considerable. If you look at, if you multiply 1 by 3 by 3 by 2, that's 18. So that means it's possible that, you know, the total chance of occurrence, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. But here, 18 over 81. So that means there is a problem here. It's not high, but it's something that we can still do something administratively to control. All right. If you look at this, the numbers here, you will see that there is one that is actually open now 54, which is the sudden loss of key personnel, which could mean that somebody just resigned from your office, and the person is the custodian of knowledge. He has not done knowledge transfer. He decided to resign. You guys will be in problem. Or death, this person just died. You guys will be in problem because you all rally around him. You could be the MD. You all go to him, you know, for support. What we're then saying is that if the problem is, you've seen the problem as 54, as an FM, you should then trigger what we call mitigation plans. What can we do to reduce this to as low as reasonably practicable? Can we have procedures and processes in place? So everything this guy knows, maybe it's your key personnel, is your lead technician, is the head of technicians. Can we then have, you know, processes in place so that step by step we state what we do when there are failures? We first identify what are the failures that can happen within the facility. You pick the sections: water, power supply, what again? Operation of the machines, water treatment, water withdrawal, whatever, waste management. You just state cleanliness. You just state everything that could happen. Have a big header. Then step by step, what are those sub-activities that happen under each of these activities? Then what are the things we do under each of the sub? So that even if somebody resigns today, at least you guys will not be stranded. You know, okay, they want to clean this place. Okay, they used to use brush and packer. And the packer and brush is located in X spot. So at least you won't be stranded. But I can tell you now that some of us will just rely on some of our key guys. And those key guys, did they resign or did they walk away? We know that we are empty. It's not FM, it's not acceptable. You can't be a facility manager and not be on top of this by procedure. The processes need to be clear to anybody. You can be promoted, you can be transferred tomorrow. You can even get another job, like I said. Don't let your organization be stranded. Okay, so if you look at the right-hand side, you have that impact and possibility metrics, just like a risk assessment. You know, you can do this by what we call the inside out, when you have the internal and external stakeholders tell you what the problems are. So it's not just you speaking to yourself, but also having like a group of people, you know, telling you, okay, these are the possibilities and these are what we need to do. We have just 30 minutes left. Please, I don't understand. So someone is saying, is BCP same as BCM? So business continuity plan is inside your business continuity management system. It's called BCMS, business continuity management, and that's the ISO 31000, ISO 31000. So ISO 31000 is around there's one. No, sorry, I think I've made no. 31000 is risk management. ISO 22301, 22301. 2050. That should be your business. So the ISO for business continuity, ISO 22301. That's the series. So you need to just maybe you need to study that, and if you have some time. But the summary is what we're actually talking about here. Someone said, I don't understand the existing mitigation on the table. The existing mitigation are the things that you are doing presently. What are those things that you are doing? Take credit for them. Those things that you have in place, are they strong enough? Are they just average, or you don't even have anything in place? For instance, when I was talking about water disruption, these guys said they have strong mitigation. So maybe they have water storage tank that can even last them for more than one day. That's a mitigation. So even if their bore pump fails or the water board has not supplied water, because they have stored water in the tank, they won't run into an emergency. They will still be able to, use the water when they have some time to activate their response plan, which could be calling a water supplier to just use water tanker to deliver the water you get. All right, next slide, please. I think we're almost done. Okay, so the approach is tolerance. So let me start with avoidance. Can we even avoid the risks 100%? When you avoid the risks, that means that you don't even carry out that operation. But in reality, you can't avoid the risks in most cases. For instance, you're an FM and you have fleet of vehicles fleet of cars to manage. You can avoid the risk by saying, oh, this company does not even have official car. We rather pay the money into the staff, salary, and let the guy bear everything on his own. You've avoided, so there's nothing like, oh, road traffic accident, you need to go for rescue. You are not going for any rescue because you don't have a car you want to rescue. It's none of your problem again, right? You can actually do what we call mitigation. Mitigation by putting some controls in place, following the hierarchy of safety controls. So substitution, engineering, admin, and what have you. You can tolerate the risks by not even doing anything and say, okay, if it happens, it happens. That means God be with us. Then, of course, you can transfer the risks to a specialized company or insurance. But just insure the whole thing. So you want to carry out maybe work at night or work in confined space. You can actually get another company to do it so that your staff are not even exposed to things like this. And of course, prevention by education. Prevention is actually key. So the truth of the matter is you can't just select one of these methods. This is the only one you want to use. You need to go with combination of methods. Please don't tolerate the risks unless that risk is very low. If it's not low, please don't tolerate. Tolerate means that you accept, which is acceptance. Acceptance is not a strategy. But if some people just accept and say, okay, worst case, we pay compensation, right? You can't afford to give a vehicle to an unqualified driver or an untrained driver. They can't afford not to have a journey management plan, like a plan on how you want to manage your trips or your vehicles, and just wait for things to happen and wait on prayers alone. Even my Bible made me understand that it is faith and work, right? So if it's Bible we are both reading, it's not just about work and it's not just about faith. It's a combination. So you pray and you work. He said, show me your faith without work, and I will show you my work through my faith, right? So you have faith, you don't have work. Apostle Paul said is dead. Faith without work is dead. Faith without work is dead on arrival. So you can't afford not to work. You need to work and have faith. You need to expect, but also you need to work. All right, next slide. Next slide, please. I'm running out of time. Okay, so here I think you can read this on your own. Emergency plan component. What are the things that you should have in your emergency plan? From the authority, which is your managing director, the head of the company, to you guys setting. So when it's authority comes from policy. So we need to have a policy in place on emergency preparedness and mitigation, signed by the top guy, by your number one, to say this is the direction that this company is going, right? Then you should have objective, your scope, your situation assumption. So situation assumption is just like scenarios. What are those things that you've spotted, you've identified, all right? Then emergency level comes from your risk assessment. There are usually 3 levels of emergencies, right? So your level 1, level 2, level 3. And each level is governed by different committees. What do I mean? If it's something that we can manage in-house within your premises, we don't need to go and report to MD. If it's something that is beyond us, we need to inform maybe management, right? And if it's a big company, maybe it's a multinational, your level 3 can actually mean you escalate globally. But I will leave you guys to determine your size of organization and how you want to manage your emergencies, how you want to escalate. What are the kind of emergencies that should be within your level at your location? What is the one that you need to involve your head office? And what is that one you need to escalate to your global company? Next slide, please. I think it's still around the components of the emergency plan. Just go through and define each one and try and have it typed out, set out, in your document. So we said that you need to implement this plan. So having a plan is good, but a plan in the shelf or on the shelf is as good as there is no plan. So having a plan and the plan remains in your system, or the plan remains on the shelf, is as good as you don't have any plan. So in terms of documentation, you should train people. There should be meetings where we speak around this plan, training. All right. We should create, review, and implement the procedures and of course the SOPs. You should check people's. So what we even do, is their personal objective, people's PO, people's job description. Try and put some responsibility. If somebody is supposed to be a fire marshal, put it there in his JD, so that you won't think that maybe you won't have sense of entitlement of a milocon. That's all. You are supposed to pay him for something. He's doing something extra for you. Because if the factory burns, then there's no factory, and there's no money for anybody. So we need to move away from, I was only employed as a cook. They didn't tell me I'll be fighting fire. If as a cook or as a chef, something happens and the factory is gone, you're also gone. I was employed as an EHS maybe trainer or tutor. They didn't tell me I'll be doing this. Not a problem. When that factory is burnt down, or when the office is burnt, nobody has an office. Everybody goes home. There's never income for everybody. So I think we need to erase this sense of entitlement where people feel, they're doing something extra. Listen, guys, I'm not saying you should not encourage them. I'm not saying we should not have maybe once in a while, just recognize, reward and recognition. Yes, because not everybody will be a member of that thing. There'll be recognition. No, I'm not saying at the end of the year we should not give them plaque or even host a dinner in honor of the emergency responders. For the year, good performance, great performance. If they actually performed well, guys, I'm not saying we should not give them voucher, 5K, 10K, 20K. I don't know the size of the company where they can actually go to ShopRite or Spa and get something. Maybe you can get a short gift for them, man. So I'm not saying you should not encourage them. You need to boost the morale. When I was talking about Ishikawa the other time, I did mention motivation under the 7 hands. Man, material, method, machine, measurements, management, motivation. Motivation comes in many ways, not just money. For some people, it's just reward and recognition. For some people, it's just authority. For some people, it's just naming. When I say naming, when you put their picture on the wall and say, the best clinic for the month. People get motivated. For some people, it's promotion. For some people, it's even additional responsibility or authority. For some people, it's actually an handshake with the MD. Some people, it's just a letter, an email from his manager to say, you're doing well. People get motivated differently. So not just about money. All right. So when I say motivation, don't think, money. If it's money, I would have told you money. Money also started with M. But it's motivation this time, not just money. All right. Then prepare for assigned function. So clearly, in an emergency, you should have minimum of four groups. You should have the communication group. You should have the what we call the search and rescue group. You should have the firefighting or first aid responding group. And of course, you should have the muster point or now, muster points or marshalling kind of group. So what they do is that they direct people to the muster points. At the muster points, they can also take care of the head count. Your communication group, that is 767 or 112 number in Lagos, to notify the emergency center, the EOC, Emergency Operations Center, that Lagos are set up to say, oh, there is a problem. All right. So people need to know their function. Some of us need to carry the extinguisher or the stretcher and go to where the incident has happened. All right. Some of us need to then do search and rescue, where we do the sweeping of the room, where we check if nobody is trapped. So I'm saying there must be, for your ICS, your incident command system, there must be 4 groups at the minimum. Communications, firefighting or medical emergency, medical responders, search and rescue, then muster points stroke marshalling. Those 4 groups must exist. Please. Next slide. I have just about 10 minutes. I need to take a bow. So your continuity kits. So what should you have? Now you are seeing hard copy. It's because of the level of maturity of most organizations. If you can go digital, please go digital. When I say digital, I mean maybe you have a pad, iPad or what have you, that you can use to document. If you have digitalized your process, please make use of it. But don't tell us that, oh, the battery was not charged, and that's why you couldn't document. So if it is pen and paper for the first detailing and taking the records, or why not? If not, these are the things you need to have. You'll be fine. Next slide, please. I think I'm almost done. Check. I think I have just 2 or 3 slides to go. Okay. So practical approaches. Everything we've said since morning is actually a practical approach, right? But there is a next level. Some of us in our organization, especially the HR guys, talk about the next of kin. My question is, what do you use that detail or the details or that information for? If you can't act on it as at when due. If there's a fire incident or a robbery attack or terrorist attack, like the Owo Church, if that Owo Church was a company, how will you guys have managed this? Or how will we have managed this? If the suicide attack was actually happening in a church, what would have been our response? How do you address the media? You saw the mess, right? Where everybody just went to the media to say, oh, these guys came. If it was a company, not everybody and not anybody will actually speak with the press. Some people, that's their job. They know how to choose the right words. They don't lie. I won't say they're lying, but they know how to choose the right words, right? So that you don't spoil. Remember, I said something about reputation. Don't damage the reputation of the company. The family, the employees, you need to be able to address the situations. So just read through this, and so you lost somebody, a staff got involved in an accident and he died. How do you deliver that message? You just pick up your phone and just call the wife. So it has happened. What has happened? There must be that's evaluation. And what are you then doing? What are the next steps you're doing after you have checked? All right. You have ensured that things are in place. Have you tested your plan? Have you simulated? Do you even do drill? Whether desktop or real? So desktop means that you just sit behind your system and you pull in time for Zoom and the Google Meet era now. You pull in people on a call and you test you check if they understand their roles and responsibilities. Then you can then do the physical one where people actually gather at the muster point, where you sound the alarm, you get at the muster point and you create a scenario as if, there there was a truck that collided with the fence. It was carrying gas. Maybe there was a gas truck. They see that a CNG or an LPG gas truck that collided with the building. So you need to evacuate the building, right? Then you want to see how people respond. I said your 4 groups. So your search and rescue, your communications, your medical emergency and firefighting group, and of course, your buster points, head count, or what we call the marshalling group. All right. So I think we've come to the end of next slide. Let me see. Is there any next slide? I think we've come to the end of the class. Yeah, I think we've come to the end of the class. So I think it's 5-10 minutes for us to ask questions and maybe what we don't understand, so we can resolve that. The floor is open, please. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
I've already been talking to myself.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Afis Faji.
Yeah.
My own question is this business and continuity process. Is there any allowance for time to return back to operation?
What do you mean by allowance?
That's as in, is there any? Should there be any gap of continuity allowed? Let me cite a physical example of a company, CVC, for example. During the NSAS trouble, the company got attacked, and for a few days, they were not on air, so they couldn't operate. Only for them to come back after.
Your network is bad, or I think I've. Sorry, Afis. I think your network is bad, but I think I have an idea of what your question was. That's what time do we allot for recovery? So this is actually company specific. So what happened during NSAS? I don't think a lot of companies actually planned for that. All right. So civil disruption, that's what happened, or civil unrest. So I think a lot of people, don't or did not emphasize that there could be a civil unrest in this Nigeria that will be so big that companies and banks will not open when it wasn't even a military coup, right? So I don't know. I don't work for TVC, but for the number of days or whatever that they were out, I'm sure they needed to do that for security reasons, and of course for them to even be able to repair or fix the equipment that were actually damaged. You could even see cases of ShopRite that was boggled on Adenimo and what have you. So people or companies or facility managers, so using that ShopRite as a case study, they should be able to forecast or predict that it is possible now that there could be civil unrest. But the good news is that the speed of onset is actually gradual. It's not sudden. It's different from armed robbery. Armed robbery attacking, or armed robbers attacking a bank, or armed robbery incidents happening in a facility can happen so suddenly if you don't have the right intelligence gathering, right? But it's again different if you have been able to assess your person and say, are we attractive to armed robbers? You can't have maybe a small shop and you sell jewelries, original jewelries, for crying out loud, and so gold and what have you, worth several millions, and not envisage that one day we could be attacked. So if we are going to be attacked because what we have attracts, this kind of guys, then that will even tell you where you should go and get the shop. So, for instance, you are investing maybe 100 million in jewelries, selling gold, wristwatch, chain, and everything. And in your mind, you can go and get a shop by roadside in one unsafe area because you want to be, You want to be open to the market. Who is your market? Is those guys walking or passing through that you are leaving your market? You can't open that kind of shop in Oshodi now. That can be your market. Even if you're going to site that kind of shop in VI, or yeah, I won't even say Lekki. If it's going to be Lekki, then it should be some areas in Lekki, not everywhere. So what we're saying is that you need whoever. So let's assume that you've even gotten the shop at Oshodi. Oh, fine. And your investment is about 100 million in movable jewelries. It's not a problem. Have you then done a risk assessment to say what is this possible threat? Robbery. Fine. What are those things I can do that I can do? So for the robbery as a threat, what is the probability and what is the severity? If what they are going to carry requires them to go and hire a crane, if what they are going to steal requires them to hire a crane, they know that the likelihood will be minimal, right? But if it is something that within 5 minutes they can come with a gun and pack your jewelries and move in an high-speed vehicle, then you know that the probability is huge. What's your severity? Is the total loss. So they move everything away, right? So that's a 4 times 5, making 20. Very high risk. What can you do? Risk strategy. Do you know you can actually insure your jewelries? So if it is stolen, insurance will pay you, all right? Or you can prevent it by having maybe a standby police vehicle in front of your shop every time. Or you can tolerate it and say, if it happens, it happens. You can mitigate by whatever means, whether traditional or English. So what I mean is having burglary, having, things that can actually protect you. And you can avoid by not staying in that location or not saying that kind of thing because of that threat. I've been able to run through the 5 strategy for you now based on your risks. So for civil unrest like that NSAS, it wasn't forecasted. It wasn't envisaged. So what then means that you need to live by it. So to answer your question, how many days you can't determine. But if it's something that you did the planning, the business continuity plan, you'll be able to forecast. So if it's something you planned for, if that scenario is something you planned for, then you will know. But because it was not planned, so if you ask me for TVC, I don't know how long it's going to take them to replace an equipment. I don't know how long it's going to take them to even instill confidence in their team and come back. Right? So it depends on what they see that they can put in. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any more question, please? Yeah. Okay. Someone is asking for my name on LinkedIn. So my name is Kolapo Bolade, but it's likely you see engineer in front. All right. So you're going to see engineer Kolapo Bolade with some very long letters: MBA, MNSC, PIMA, Kinikon. Just simply put, my name is Kolapo Bolade. All right. So you can add me up on LinkedIn. I will always accept your friendship. All right.
Please, the 4 groups you mentioned, the communication, selling, please, I didn't get the whole 4, please.
I said that at a minimum, you should have for your incident command system,
Yes.
where, of course, your top guy will be the commander, and you or your HSC guy can assist him. You need to have your communications group. They're the one I will call the 767 or 112 if you're in Lagos. That's the emergency control operations number. They're the ones that will, when those guys come, whether they be fire service or anybody, they're the one that will even help to, receive them, show them the layout, tell them how they can gain access into the building. So they should be that are knowledgeable, right? That's one group. Then second group is the search and rescue that will do the sweeping to ensure that nobody is trapped. They go from, if it is safe, they go from room to office to office, room to room, flat to flat, to ensure that everybody has been evacuated. And of course, they can also give direction to people, control traffic and what have you. The third group, I said, they are the marshalling or muster points head count group. where when people get to the muster point, they're the one that will say, okay, so we're supposed to have 10 people here. If you guys operate, the sign-in, sign-out register, where people they can actually call attendance, fine. But when I was many years back, we've been insisting that people should sign. If you are using the Visco system, where you write your name, Kola Kobolade, 7:30 a.m. That's the time I entered the factory. Even if I want to go and buy something outside, I should sign out and say Kola Kobolade, 9:30 a.m. Nobody's going to ask me for. So what that has done is that if there's an emergency, they know that I'm not in the factory. But not the one that will just go in and go out, just do whatever we want. And nobody can even say that, oh, this person is in the factory or not in the factory. This person is in the building, not in the building. So for places like that, it's not a problem. So far, there is somebody that knows how many people that came in the morning. Where they can say, oh, this person, he has not come downstairs, or he's still in the building. Then your search and rescue team will know the person is in the building. And if he's not safe to go in, it's not a problem. When the firefighter comes, you tell them, oh, flat 10. There were 4 in that room, only 3 came out. So maybe 4th person has fainted based on shock, or is actually engulfed in fire, we don't know. So that means the fire guys can then go there and rescue the person. Then the last group will be the firefighting or medical emergency response team. People that actually attend to the situation. So if it's a fire situation, they go to fight the fire. If it's an medical emergency situation, they carry the stretcher and go and carry the person. But remember, 767 and 112 numbers, 767 or 112. 767 or 112, that number has been called, and help is on the way. Just keep assuring people that help is on the way. Professionals are coming and they'll come and help us. They'll take us out or bail us out of this situation. All right? So that are the 4 groups. Thank you. Any more questions, please? Or we are good to go? Any more questions, please? Okay, I think for the first time in so many years, we've come to the end of the class just on time. So I usually steal the class into 1 minute and what have you. But it's 7 p.m. and I can say that we've come to the end of the class. If there are no more questions, Baraka, I think I can hand over back to you. Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Kolapo. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's class. This class stands
Abioye has his hands up.
Yes.
Father,
good evening, sir. It's not a question, it's an observation. The note sent to me in my Gmail doesn't have an assessment. So I'm seeing an assessment here. So I wanted to
Baraka, please. Baraka, please.
Same here too. Same thing with me.
Okay, so Baraka, please just share the slides that has the assessment.
Thank you. We'll do that. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have a question, you can always drop those questions on LinkedIn. I'll put them up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
And you too. God bless you, sir. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Bye, sir.
Check, I will speak to you.
Yes.